The following podcast is sponsored by EasyRollerDice.com.
I'm in Max.
You are listening to Happy Jacks RPG Podcast.
I'm in Max.
Pursuing the RPG hobby with reckless abandon.
Thank you for joining us for season 19. I don't have my mic on.
No.
Thank you for joining us for season 19, episode 6 of Happy Jacks RPG Podcast. My name is Stu.
My name is Kimmy.
My name is Bill.
I'm Stork.
Put that in the center.
Tell me what to do.
There you go.
At least mine was on.
It was.
That's true.
I'm going to cover up my intoxicate. Intoxicate.
Put it down between the. I guess they're girls. I don't know if they are. Are they? I don't
Sternum.
know.
Put it near the sternum.
Yeah.
No, I don't have girls.
Okay.
The
Well,
girls.
Boys.
My pecs.
they're not boys either. I don't know what to call them on.
Pecs. My pectorals.
Pecs,
You know
okay.
what to call them?
Yeah.
Workouter?
In this episode of Happy Jacks RPG Podcast,
Well, they're peck adjacent. They're kind of...
They are.
Remus asks for some murder mystery help.
Peck insulation.
Andreas gives us a glimpse into another gaming culture. Axel asks about character development in a condensed or intense session. And Ryan sends us a GM confession. But before we begin, this episode of Happy Jacks RPG Podcast is sponsored by EasyRollerDice.com.
Woohoo!
Love those guys.
It's unrequited love.
It is.
I love them so much.
It's requited. They love us.
It is requited. It is requited.
It's sloppy.
It is,
There's
kind
so
of.
much
yeah.
It's a little bit of sloppy love there,
So the guys at EasyRollerDice.com,
but the good kind of sloppy.
they have a special deal going for their metal dice sets. Just for Happy Jacks listeners. You won't find this code anywhere else. So go to EasyRollerDice.com, and you can get a set of metal dice at a 15% discount.
What?
15%.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Or 15 1% discounts.
Yep.
Or 3 5% discounts.
Yes.
Although the math is a little different. So you use the sales code or the coupon code SALE15. It can be uppercase or lowercase because they know it confuses us here.
yeah.
Put that in at checkout and you'll get 15% off any order of metal dice. And this also includes the metal dice sets
And the
and the
super cool gunmetal set.
gunmetal sets.
Yeah.
which
Which are crazy
So
cool.
cool, yeah.
Those are awesome. I bought a set of those for Elspeth for Christmas.
Does it include?
Legendary copper.
Legendary copper.
I'm not sure. It might. If they're there and they're metal.
Stu,
Yes.
I have a question, Stu.
Yes.
Is it SAIL, S-A-I-L?
No.
Or SAIL, S-A-L-E?
SALE. SALE 15. Sale 15.
Like buying sale.
That's right.
Badass.
So and this includes all of the metal sets, including the gunmetal series. And so go to EasyRollerDice.com and use the code SALE15 at checkout. There'll be a direct link in the show notes to where all of the metal dice are. So you can go in and just click
Excellent.
and add to your shopping cart all the metal dice you want to your heart's desire, and then enter the code, and bam, there you go. And while you're there, they've got the cool dice trays.
That's right.
And they've got the little mini maps.
I've actually grown to love the dice tray. Never used them before.
I know.
Grown to love it.
Yep. And stuff doesn't fall out. And
Right.
also, it's kind of neat. If you have a nice tabletop and you're buying the gunmetal dice,
Oh, yeah.
you kind of want to have.
Yeah,
the dice
you should
tray.
just put a dice tray into the basket.
Yeah.
At the same time. And I think I gave all you guys a gunmetal 6-sider
You
Yes.
did.
for Christmas.
They were awesome.
Yes.
And if you buy the 4-sided gunmetal dice, make sure it stays on the table, because
Oh yeah. You'll find it.
that'll put you in the hospital right there.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And don't throw them at players
No.
No.
unless you mean bodily harm.
Yes.
And then it's a great weapon.
Especially the 4-sider.
Yes. Even the 6,
Yeah.
very sharp. So thank you very much.
I'm fairly sure David killed Goliath with one of the 20-siders
Yes, probably.
in a sling.
I think so.
I'm pretty sure.
Well, I don't know if they had 20s. It may have been a 12. They may have gotten that technology.
Biblically epic.
Got a critical hit with it?
Heck yeah.
Yeah, the 20 right on his
Yeah.
crinkly Goliath
Yeah,
forehead.
but all you can see is the 1. It's the 20
That's true. That's true. So thank you very much to EasyRollerDice.com. Remember the code SALE15.
Sale. Woo,
We
woo.
appreciate their support. And if you'd like to support the show, go buy some dice.
Yep.
Thank you very much. EasyRollerDice.com. Now, I want to read the first email. I'd like to go through that first. But we have...
Even, before people know how to get a hold of us?
Oh, well, I don't need to do the email right now. I have such a backlog.
No, but
in emails.
social media.
Okay, yeah.
Right?
If
You
you'd like
know.
to find us on Twitter, you can go to Happy Jacks RPG, all one word. And we're also on the Instagrams, Happy Jacks RPG, all one word. And you can listen to the show live, happyjacks.org/Twitch or happyjacks.org/YouTube.
You can see us there too.
and
It's
you
not
can
just listening.
see us with the face mics.
That's right.
It's fantastic.
And if you have Twitch and YouTube up at the same time, there's a bit of a delay with YouTube.
Yes.
Twitch is much more instantaneous.
It's twitchy.
I discovered
It is.
that.
Snappy.
Yeah.
Checking to see if I was logged into both, and it was like, da-da-da-da-da. It was sort of weird. It was really cool.
And we've been super excited because Twitch is kind of right now for us blown up. It's
Yes.
awesome. We
Yeah.
made a big plea on all of our social media and like calling people personally and going to the local store and tacking up those like next to the lost cat posters. Like,
Right.
please follow us on Twitch, and we're like in the mid 500s now,
Yep.
which is awesome.
Yeah,
so,
we're super excited about that.
so thank you.
And we got turned into a Twitch affiliate as well.
Yes.
And that's still being set up.
Right, which is great, and we also love all of our continuing and growing dedicated podcast listeners
Yes.
Yes.
as well. So
Absolutely.
And something that I need to continue to tell people, which I keep forgetting about, all of our actual plays, if you watch them on Twitch, you'll see the D&D show on Sunday nights during fair, and then on alternate Mondays we have the Masks game and also the Savage Rifts game.
Yeah.
All of those are available in a separate podcast feed, Happy Jacks RPG Actual Play. So if you go to iTunes or whatever your podcatcher is, or Google Play or whatever, and put in Happy Jacks RPG Actual Play, you'll find that you can subscribe to those and get the audio feed for all of those games. They're all in one feed, all there for your consumption.
Awesome.
Thank you. And let me just briefly say that when I got home from fair on last Saturday night, there was a care package waiting for me.
For us.
a care package
For us.
Communal.
A care package.
What?
And we'll talk about it after we do our first email.
But-
All right.
Patreon.
Oh, yeah. If you'd like to support the show on Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/srvenable or happyjacks.org/Patreon.
Yeah. We
There's
are
that.
at the 150 mark right now. When it reaches 200, we're going to be creating and releasing more of the
GM briefing.
GM briefing. So Stu's very pumped for that. So keep
Right.
pushing. I've also released a bunch of new different stuff lately. So if you haven't gone to the page recently, go check it out. There's cool new
Yep.
stuff there. And we have a schedule.
That's
A
right.
schedule with the
and
articles.
we have a lot of people contributing.
Yeah.
From our stable of game masters.
Our herd.
Our herd of game masters. And we're going to be coming up with other cool stuff to do for Patreon.
Yep.
Yeah, and
people
all that
as
money.
well.
Yeah, and all that money goes to us making the podcast, the stream, all the stuff better.
That's right.
So now,
Now,
So thank you.
I got.
If you're a Patreon,
If you're a
We love
Patreon
you.
supporter, thank you.
thank you very much. Yeah, huge loves.
So this box is sitting on my front porch, and last Saturday, I looked at the box, and the origin is from a place where people are not accustomed to 100-degree days in April
forever.
or ever.
Nebraska?
No, it
Minnesota?
Was, no, it's from some of our Scandinavian listeners.
Oh, Minnesota, yeah, for sure.
No, like the real Scandinavian listeners.
like-
OS, original Scandinavian.
Oh, like Los Meadows.
What?
Wow, no one knows where you're going
No.
now, man.
No one.
That was the first Viking settlement in North America.
Like Sweden.
Oh, right, those guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where my grandfather's from. Yeah, all right.
Okay. But
And Maunmu.
I immediately unpacked it, and I put everything that had chocolate in it in the refrigerator so it would solidify, because it
Right.
was sacks of liquid chocolate.
Neat.
It was thinner than Hershey's chocolate syrup.
I
That's
speak
how
from
thin.
experience.
Awesome.
It should still be fine.
Oh yeah. It will be misshapen,
That's okay.
But
It's
it
like
will-
it's like
delicious.
us.
just
It's
like us.
misshapen, but still nice.
So we're gonna go through this as we go through the show, because there was actually quite a bit of stuff, and I'm excited about some of it. a little leery about
Yeah,
slow
I'm
mood as well.
scared like hell.
And I
about
have
some
to
of this
say,
stuff.
where's the cheese knife?
Oh, here's
Oh,
the
yeah.
cheese knife.
This was included in it, the cheese knife, but the box was open, sitting on the porch. So I don't know if there was cheese in it, if it's rolling around in the back of a
Delivery
post truck.
yeah.
I don't know.
Customs took it because smuggling cheese is an offense or something,
Cheese
or
smugglers.
maybe somebody
It's
the
very
postman-
possible somebody came to your porch was like, "Oh, I wonder what's in this box." Like some people that steal
Like, "Oh, I
packages,
don't want any of this."
and they open up and they're like, "Oh, I don't even
cheese.
know what the hell all this stuff is, but that looks like cheese."
Right.
So I'll take it.
It's
That could be.
cheese, Gromit.
Freaking cheese thieves. Anyway, we'll do those in a little bit. This is an urgent murder mystery help, and this email came from February.
Oops.
I'm sorry. I think if you want to send me I know I say urgent in the subject line. It's just that sometimes I'm a little in a hurry when I'm organizing my email box, and I'm thinking maybe some asterisks might make it stick out.
Urgent, all caps, 3 asterisks,
Ahead of
3
and
exclamation
behind.
points.
And
Yeah,
the-
like asterisk, 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 urgent, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point, asterisk, asterisk, asterisk.
With the 2 little @ symbols, so it looks like eyes looking at it. Like, Stu,
Yes.
look at it.
Wait, I gotta write
Right.
this down. Start again.
And then you dumb fuck Stu.
Yeah.
Maybe
Right.
put that in
Right.
there as well.
That might be
because
attention.
because I miss I if I see them I try to make sure that they get to the front of the line.
Right.
But I'm going through the old emails like oh that's urgent.
Or you
that's
could just
urgent
say,
from
or if you
February.
start it, if the subject line is "saw you on Grinder," ... Still open that one up
Right away.
super fast.
Right away. Greetings, Stu and the Douche Knots. This game will likely be run in 2 weeks.
Oops.
Sorry. And I have very little extra time to prep, so anything you guys have to say to help out is most appreciated. This is
right.
from Remus or Ramus. Ramus?
Romulus.
I'm sure it's Remus, and how quickly we've answered it.
Raemus.
Are we?
Har har.
Relax.
you-
After.
You want to open a cookie
You want
now?
to open one now? you
No,
want
it's
cookie
fine.
now?
I'll wait.
She's gonna have
Go.
dinner.
You want monkey balls?
Keep reading.
Okay.
My main questions are,
I want monkey balls.
what is the best way to put together a good whodunit that makes the characters even suspect each other? What are the pitfalls that must be avoided? What would be the best archetype for a villain big bad guy to keep the game lighthearted? And then he has the particulars of his situation. I'll read the short version first, and then we'll decide if we need the long version.
Okay.
I'm about to run a murder mystery game set at a magical hot spring resort in a fantasy exalted setting. A fantasy, quote, exalted setting. The PCs are here along with the rest of the members of the house that have recently passed their coming-of-age personal quests. They will be snowed in, along with some servants, a few lesser nobles, and a couple greater nobles, including their host. When a well-connected exalt is killed without a witness, the PCs are seen as the likely culprits because they are the only other exalted supernatural beings there. If they can't solve the mystery, they put their house in great danger. So, he's looking for what's the best way to put together a whodunit that makes the characters even suspect each other. I'm assuming this is either a one-shot or this is a game that hasn't happened yet, so the characters don't have any history with each other.
Right.
I think the best way to do that is to hand every character a note at the beginning of the game and say, even if it just says, here's the relationship you have with the other characters in the game. Give it something that they can read, so they're looking around at other people at the table, and
Right.
then if you want to make one of them the murderer, you write on there, oh, and by the way, you killed this guy.
Yeah.
Right.
That's super fun.
You also, I would say, make it clear either like that they are required to provide this information at some point during the first 45 minutes of play, what their relationship is with the exalted who's murdered.
Ah, good idea.
Right? So then what they'll realize, like, oh, everyone here actually had some relationship to them.
Yeah.
Because that will get people thinking, like, oh,
Or maybe even a motive.
right,
Yeah.
right, which provides a motive, right?
Just like Murder by Death, where everybody that was invited to the party.
Sure. Yeah, has a reason that they
A
might have
relationship.
wanted that guy dead.
Right.
Or gal dead.
You know what I thought of when I first read this was to play a bit of a game inside a game, which is to play it like Clue, which is everybody writes their character name and they hand it to the GM, and the GM goes through and puts everything in an envelope and sets it out and goes,
That's the
"It's
murderer.
just, that's the murderer. So you go through this
But
game,
you
we
gotta
sort of figure out
run
the clues.
You're going to have to run that game, though, And the GM is going to need to know that.
Well, there's two ways to do it. You either put in what you think, or put in what you want, but the people don't know. But, since they're handing their names in, it could be one of them, or you just let it go, and you can figure out. It's like Clue. You just figure out it's Colonel Mustard in the library with the candlestick, right? And if the candlestick and Colonel Mustard are missing, you pretty much know what happens.
Right.
Yeah, I like Stu's point though about making sure everybody had a motive. Like even if it's not necessarily the best motive, especially I'm sure we've all played those murder mystery the murder party or whatever they called it.
Host of Murder.
Host of Murder, yeah, the little box set you had. They did a really great job with that of making sure that everyone, even if it was like, oh, you were having an affair with this person, or you were in a business deal that went bad. So even if it's not something that necessarily is the cause, there's always something to cast suspicion on every person. That's a really important point. And also, the notes are a really great opportunity, which I love, to make really cool props for your players.
Yes.
And that in and of itself is going to give suspicion between the players because they're going to be saying, okay, someone's note probably says that they're the murderer on it. Or,
right. Even if it doesn't.
Yeah.
Right, because what you have to tell them is here's a note, one of the rules of the game is they can't show that note to another player, right?
Right.
Because even if you know as the GM it was actually the dog who killed him because it's got some weird vampiric energy thing, and that's how the guy died. He got drained because the dog bit him, whatever. Right, some weird thing that happens. If they can't show each other, even if on none of their cards it says that they killed him, none of them have that. When somebody's like, "Oh, I think you might have done it," I didn't do it. Right. Even though they know they are, they'll just start suspecting each other anyway.
You know what? The other thing that you could do for that is to, at the bottom of it, say that the most of the note is, this is what you think about the other PCs, and then at the bottom of it say, this is what you think about the victim, and then have a question. Would this make you angry enough to kill him? And they can write whatever they want, and then everyone gives the note back to the GM. That way you don't have to worry about anyone seeing anyone's note.
Oh, interesting.
And everyone wrote something down and sent it back to them. So some of them, and they're gonna, if I know that my note says was I angry enough to kill him, and I sit there and I write yes or no, and I see other people writing, right there, huge amounts of suspicion.
There's also the fact that you can have them all gathering separate clues. Which might point to other players. It's like, you discover a bloody size 12 footprints. There's only one other person in the house with size 12 shoes. It's the barbarian, or whatever it is. So you can play with them that way. It's like all of a sudden all the clues are stacking up towards a couple of the other players, whether they are or not.
Right.
And then if you want to keep it lighthearted, well, then it's just the Scooby-Doo ending, right?
Well, I think the biggest thing to keep it lighthearted with, as far as your big bad villain, because that's specifically what he's asking about, make the villain evil for evil's sake.
Yeah.
Don't make him conflicted.
Yeah.
Don't make him so that anyone could look at him and go, well, I kind of understand what he's doing.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't do it, but I get it.
No, they have to just be.
He has to just be just a prick.
Can't you just make it the butler?
Sure.
The butler did it?
Yeah, and he's evil.
Yeah, well.
And he's just a fucker.
Yeah, because he's tired of being a butler.
Right. No, you can't, because some people go, yeah, being a butler kind of sucks. Yeah, I can kind of see you. Lighthearted, you want him to think, oh no, you're going to beat that guy up. Hit him with sticks.
Big giant sticks.
Okay,
There's also what are the pitfalls that must be avoided? In a murder mystery, I think it's making the clues so convoluted no one can figure them out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right? Or saying nope, there's one answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you didn't follow this exact chain and get these things just right, so I guess you guys don't figure it out. You have to use your GMing skills to they're kind of going this direction. Oh, maybe the butler didn't do it.
Right.
Maybe the maid did it, right? And she was pointing it towards the butler. In your head, you have to be able to go kind of where the players are headed if they are just not picking up what you're laying down.
Yeah, I ran a long time ago a murder thing, and the clues were a little too obvious, and people figured out who it was right away. So I changed them. I made it someone else because the game was going to be too short. I think it might have been a con game. I don't remember. But and then when I got the years ago, we got some review material from James Raggy, who does
Ruh-roh.
Raggy?
Raggy.
He does Lamentations of the Flame Princess, and he sent a series of adventures to us. And one of them was about a murder at a wedding. And in the text of the adventure, it says, "Here are the people who could have killed him. Figure out which one it should be by what makes a more interesting story as you play."
Right.
So, and that's the first time I've actually seen that switcheroo written down.
A couple years ago, I started, and then the campaign fizzled out. But I started a Savage Worlds campaign that was set in a low fantasy world that I homebrewed, and it started with a big beer festival. And it was all these different. There's these 5 kingdoms, and they all sent representatives, and there was all these competitions and the whole thing. And the players are all there for their different reasons, right? And they kind of meet up at this one tavern. And then the first day of the judging, one of the judges gets killed by a poisoned drink.
Okay.
Right, and each one of and there was a very high-level representative from each of their kingdoms. They just happened to have the players were all from different kingdoms. Right. So, like a prince or a noble or a sultanate, I think, from each of their kingdoms could have done it. And I basically wrote out, like, how each of them would have done it. And I was just going to go, like, wherever they went with their investigation, they would eventually sort out to some point where, like, oh, this is why this guy did it. I'm like, okay, yeah, yes. You guys figured it out. Because I wanted them to figure it out, but I didn't want to get bogged down in screwing up clues.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So everybody, there was plenty of reasons why they all might have done it, and opportunity and all that kind of stuff. And it just depends on which one they kind of thought at the end, and then they were going to be right. Didn't you run one? Didn't you and Dave run one?
We did, but again, it's always hard for me to run a murder mystery and not have it become Scooby-Doo, because it's just, I always think I'm doing it wrong, and it's hard. It's really difficult, for me at least.
So what do you mean when you say
down
for
low.
it to become Scooby-Doo?
Well, it turns into people running down corridors and slamming doors, and it turns into well, we most would have succeeded if it wasn't for you meddling kids. I mean, it always falls into these tropes that are like on every Scooby-Doo show.
Okay, though.
Is it?
I think so.
Well, I mean,
Scooby-Doo is fun.
Sure, and then maybe that fits into the lighthearted thing. Maybe they do want to run it, like you said. Maybe they do want it to be a Scooby-Doo type adventure.
It reminds me of I played a Apocalypse hack a couple of times called Those Meddling Kids, or You Meddling Kids, and
it's called Meddling Kids.
I believe it is.
Yeah.
And I believe the mechanic of this, if I'm not wrong, they were still tweaking it, was ostensibly the players decide who the person was that murdered, who the murderer was. Through the course of play, they end up stating, "I think it was groundskeeper Willie," right, and then the GM makes that so. So you could keep it open ended like that until the players just finally decide that it was groundskeeper.
Just don't let them know.
Right.
Just don't let them know you're doing.
Is that who you think it is? Okay.
So they're okay, and that we got his questions answered. I think so.
Yeah, it's interesting. I saw a little bit of the long version one. I just thought it was interesting. He's running a political dragon-blooded game, so it's the Exalted setting that he hacked for Savage Worlds. And the PCs are all part of a single house, so that's probably how they all know of each other, at least, right? And he said they've been playing for a while. They finished their 12th episode, which finished the season arc, so they all know each other,
right?
So I think that would, reading that, it's like, oh well, this has got to be some character where none of them would know the other one knew them, but as that would have come out, right? They'd be like, oh wait, you know that guy? It's like, oh well, yeah, he actually was the one who killed my cousin. Or oh my God, I know him. But that's a moment for them to all realize they have this touch point, because obviously they all know each other.
Go watch Murder by Death. It's written by Neil Simon, and it's like a cast of thousands, and everybody's one of the detective tropes. It's got the Sherlock Holmes trope. It's got the Sam Spade trope. It's got the Thin Man trope. All of them are in there. It's got Miss Marple. And they all get called together for a dinner party, and there's a murder at the dinner party, and the host is challenging the world's greatest detectives to solve the murder. And it turns out through the course of it, they all have reasons to have been suspects. And it's every trope in the world, and it's funny, and it's interesting, and it's smart, and it plays up the whole murder mystery problem, like what do you do when it's the butler? The butler actually does do it, but then it turns out the butler is dead. But then
solve the problems.
It doesn't.
Highlights them.
Highlights them. That's exactly right.
You should read the Thanks Guys thing too. at the bottom of that.
Oh,
You were reading this.
could really use any advice as this game will be outside my comfort zone. I'm really sorry we got to this email a month and a half late.
Yeah.
Also, I've been listening since my son was born 3+ years ago, and your crazy game rantings got me through his triple near-death scrapes. Holy frick.
Wow.
Within the first month of life.
Oh, I'm so sorry. That's rough.
But he made it through.
Yep.
So
Yes.
Sweet.
I have sung him to sleep many nights to this day with laser-printed hero, which he just calls Daddy Sing.
Aww.
That's
For
like
friendly
legit
neighborhood
making
game
me
master.
cry.
I know. You know, and this is the crazy part. Like a year ago, I'd been like, "Oh, nah." Now I'm like, "Oh my god!"
You're amazing, and we're such jerks for not getting to your email
That's
for
right.
so long.
I'm
I'm really
sorry.
sorry.
P.S.
we're really glad your son's okay.
My Savage Exalted, here's a link to my Savage Exalted document. Anyone can access and comment on it. All suggestions or constructive criticisms are welcome. I'll try to remember to put that in the
Show notes.
Someone remind me. No, I won't put it in the show notes. I'll put it on the forum.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
good,
yeah,
good.
good idea.
Under Savage Worlds and the
Yes.
system specific.
Yes.
happyjacks.org/forum.
This will be my third letter read on the show if you choose to read it.
Wow. But late.
A month and a half late. 6 weeks. It's only 6
I hope your
weeks.
game went well.
Yeah, you should write us and tell us how the game went, and maybe that'll be your fourth letter
Right.
on the
Right.
show.
So you want to open your cookies? Oh, let me read the letter here.
Sorry, I totally
there's a
clapped
letter.
into the mic.
No, that wasn't loud. Salutations, Happy Jacks RPG podcast, masters of the Stooniverse. As a diplomatic token of our undying appreciation, we, your Scandinavian fans, Uncommon Man, Jonas Larsson, John from Sweden, and Andreas Davor,
Devu, yeah.
hereby present the Swedish equivalent of gold, myrrh, and incense. Uncommon Man wanted to add a dirty limerick about GURPS, but friendships turned into animosity when it put Jonas into undignified tears. Andreas Davor only mumbled something about Rollmaster as usual. John from Sweden was mysterious. We would be honored if you would open and inspect the goods live during one of your shows.
And
With
so we
love
shall.
and Viking horns, Andreas, John, Jonas, and Uncommon Man.
Awesome.
I think, we're not sure, but I'm pretty sure this translated as monkey poo, right?
That's right.
And judging from the look of it,
Okay, tack for et bra program som ente sitter folk i fack.
Okay, so
talk
talk
is
is
thank
thank you. That's the same as the one I know
let me see
too.
it. Thanks for the program.
Thanks for your bra program.
and some
And some other people I fuck. That's what it
maybe
looks like.
some other the focus
Oh,
people.
fack, yeah.
Some other
I mean,
people, yeah. Hoppus, which I think means. Hold on a minute. I'm going to read Danish, and even that, it's not that good.
Just read that last line there. Puss och kram och full fart. Schiskova. Yeah, wow. I mean, I'm kidding. That's just dirty. Hey, how is that, Kimmy? That looks delicious. How's the
No,
monkey poo?
You're making a face.
Try it. It's not what I expected. It's
What is
my
it?
fault. No, I'm not going to tell you. You have to try it.
All right, so for people that are
No.
listening to the podcast, it's in a bag. It's called Jingolarvrol, I
Oh,
guess. And
It's savory.
Yeah, I was expecting it to be
and
sweet.
it's got a screaming monkey cartoon
boy.
on the front of it.
It's really
God
salty.
damn.
It's really salty.
It's
Is
not
it-
just salty. That's something else.
All right, here, pass
It's
it over.
pretty much monkey poo.
Is it monkey poo? Mm-hmm. Oh, wait, this is going to be salted licorice, right?
It's salted licorice.
That's
Yes.
what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Once you get past that layer of salt, it rocks. You got to get past that layer of salt.
Man,
though.
you got to chew your way through the Dead Sea
Yeah, you
version.
do.
Holy
Yeah, you do.
crap.
Maybe we should chase it down with pickled potato chips here.
No,
Which
I'm
they're selling here
terrified
now.
of that now.
Okay.
If this is like the candy,
That's
what?
amazing. Once you get through the salt, it's good.
Yeah, they're not bad.
If you like black licorice.
Yeah.
Wow. So A,
I would totally think it would be like
holy
dates
crap,
or
that's
something.
a lot of salt. B, I don't like black licorice.
Here, I'll take them.
Oh, those are yours.
I'll take that to fair with me.
It can definitely pull your fillings out too if you chew down on it too hard. Mm-hmm. And I was reading
Alright,
this.
you don't-
Bill and I were reading this. Bigger the Barbarian. And it's hysterical. You don't actually need to be able to read Scandinavian.
Right,
reading.
there's
It's all
almost no
local.
words, yeah.
I like the art style. The problem is that they're a little small. I'd like to see a bigger version, but I think I'll go and look for it online and see if I can't find
Yeah, it's
a more art. Folio size.
Berger Barbarin. The dark and hairy annals of Berger Barbarin.
Annals.
Oh, annals. Yeah.
You haven't read the book yet. You don't know.
No, you don't know. Yeah, it's hilarious.
Yeah. And he was Stu was concerned it wouldn't be friendly enough for his child, but There's a lot of girls in bikinis, but I don't see any
yeah.
overt nudity. Yeah.
He works fair. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Bodices.
These are good. The ballerina. Ballerina. I don't know if you'd say that from the way, but they're good. They're chocolate cookies. All right, I'm gonna try these. The dill.
We have those now. I actually saw those the other day in a store.
Oh, see, like you can see where like, a little melted there.
Those are like those are
everything-
legit really good.
All,
actually.
all chocolate turned to liquid.
Oh, they're good.
Now this is the good
these are
stuff.
good.
Over here, there's some dangerous.
Yeah,
Scary
we got, that's not,
items.
that's after.
That's the good
no,
stuff too, sir.
The green thing.
Maybe.
It's chocolate. Bring it here.
Oh, there's a bunch of chocolate bars over there too.
Punch,
Oh,
yeah.
there's one with a Post-it note that is from
A
someone's
gift
wife.
from Jonas's wife. It's
Let's-
Hex.
Let's eat that next because I'm going to guess she's not mean and it's going to taste good.
All right, we'll save that over here. Then there's like a couple of milk chocolate bars that are horribly misshapen
Oh,
now.
I've had Marabou. Yeah, those are good.
Ain't that a chocolate bar?
These
I
are-
am a human being. He's like
These
the
are
elephant
very
man of
good.
chocolate bars.
Yeah.
The dill and grass luck, whatever.
It's chives.
Oh.
So a quick story. They don't sell chocolate chips in Scandinavia. And they might now, but back in the 80s when I went to school there, they didn't. So if you were going to make chocolate chip cookies for your Scandinavian family, you had to get the Marabou because this is about as close as you can to chop it up into little bits.
Right.
And it's really not that much fun. It's so much, you're like, we just take chocolate chips for
Almost put this back
For
in my
granted.
mouth.
I don't.
Anyway, Marabou, good one. Right there.
I want to put it over here so I don't accidentally think it's a chocolate piece and put it in my mouth again.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, dill and grass.
Next email. A glimpse into another gaming culture. Speak of the devil from Andreas.
Oh my god, these chips are really good.
Hi
Yeah.
there, Stu and the Jackers. Andreas and South.
Oh my God.
SE. Oh, Sweden. SE here. Since it's time
that
once
one?
again for the oldest and largest, I think, convention in these parts, I went and checked their sign-up page. This made me remember how a listener from Germany had written about how they organized game by sign-up sheets at a convention and a stampede of elephants as the sign-up started. I'll tell you how they do it here. And it's really disappointing that Germany would be that disorganized when it
The
comes...
running of the nerds.
Right.
Right.
Well,
Right.
yes.
Hang on, before you
Okay,
go
the
any further.
Boon are really good.
The ones that look like little cannolis.
Yeah, shocking, right?
Oh my god.
Right?
The dill and chives is good. I like
Yeah,
that.
I like those.
That's really good.
Oh,
I have insulin,
These
by the
have
way, in the
booze?
refrigerator. I think they might. They kind of taste like it, don't they?
Yeah, they got a little boozy taste.
Here in Sweden...
Wait, here, take a little bite.
I don't know. I got
Have a little
I got things to read. I'm
A
busy.
little bite, one little bite. Real quick,
Oh.
real quick. Do it, try it.
Dale from Sweden in the chat room says we should mail them some American snacks.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have their address?
I have to give it. Email me an address and we'll send you American snacks.
Not everybody.
And
Not
then
everybody.
There's a tit for
it's a
tat
quid pro
thing.
quo. It's a
Yeah.
it's a you buying influence on the show and snacks. If you send us snacks, we'll send you snacks back from our country. But you can't send us snacks from like New York because we don't care.
I'll have my wife make chocolate chip cookies and send them over. Here in Sweden, we used to have tournaments with scoring and all that jazz. For those who feel that sounds odd,
Cookies.
ask Tim, and he can probably show you some old AD&D modules with pre-made characters and score sheets in the back. That was how all RPGs at conventions were done back then. Then, quote,
With
storytelling
scoring. Really?
happened, and suddenly the amount of gold you brought up from the dungeon was no longer the thing. Instead, it was character immersion. Did they stop having tournaments and scoring? Hell no! Yeah, here you start to see the world coming apart at the seams. Me and my mates won a few of those tournaments. It was surreal.
So you won the storytelling.
Right. Because everyone else is trying to kill stuff, and you're like, I'm going to try to talk to it. What? What? Why would you talk to a Minotaur? In this setup, it was natural to have a sign up done by the. I'm all phlegmy now from those green things here. It's sort of got a weird.
drink
it. So
Sip
good.
of
I
beer.
will.
I'll eat the rest of them so you don't have to.
Eat some of the monkey poo. That'll make you clear right out.
Yeah, that'll
Wow,
go to the phlegm.
man.
In this setup, it was natural to have sign up done by team, as you each know how to play your role for maximum effect in the dungeon, which meant you went to a convention to play with your mates and the same people you played with at home. I've not been to a convention in Sweden since I became a parent, so I cannot tell you or tell how much of this is still a rigid structure. But during the 1990s, you didn't go to conventions to play RPGs unless you went as a group and all your mates wanted to play the same game as you.
Really?
You almost never went to play with new people because you were a team. You played with Jim, Jane, James, and Julie, like you always did, but in another place with a GM, which sometimes were seriously bad.
which makes great stories.
Right. And you know what? We kind of have that here. We throw a Happy Jacks game, and it sort of seems to be the usual suspects that show up.
Right.
Yeah, but people don't sign up as a group. I mean, once in a while, I've seen it once in a while, but it's the exception.
Usually people will sign up in pairs. Like
Yeah.
I get like couples will sign up.
Right.
Like I have the same couple that signs up for like every Grim game I
Or like
run.
a father and son.
Yeah, a husband, wife, boyfriend,
Right.
girlfriend. Like you'll have, that kind of thing. But the idea of like there's 5 of us
Yeah.
and we're a team, we go in. It's actually really interesting. It reminds me of Table Titans that Scott Kurtz does.
Yes.
Like that's the whole thing is everybody's in teams and they've all made their characters to go through like this dungeon run. Right. It's a little Pathfinder Society, but like there's
Right.
actually a tournament and there's you win the Winotar, which is a drinking cup thing.
A Winter.
Well, you didn't read the Table Titans game, but yeah, that's a...
Yeah, but that's what it reminded me of. Was this was our team. We play together.
And what's it called? What's the Gold series or the?
Yeah.
Oh,
the
right.
thing
Yeah,
David
yeah.
met?
Right.
They have a team of people. Yeah, but
Right.
that,
Yeah, same thing.
competitive
Idea.
role-playing.
Yeah,
Was it
competitive
gold?
role playing. Yeah, it was gold.
What's it called?
Yeah.
Gold?
Yeah.
It was Gold and then Night of the Zombie King.
Never Jump King.
Right.
The 2 series, but it was basically by that same group. Moving on, I did check the sign up for the big con, and they still had you sign up as a team leader and a team for the RPG events.
Really?
If you think Germany is crazy, Sweden is right up there as well. I tell you. Well, okay. In closing, I must say, I feel quite proud about having written in about your thoughts on having a game calendar. My quoting of the Adventures of Dragons DMG and Gary Gygax's pretentious claim about meaningful games has become a meme on the show, almost like wandering damage.
Oh, that was you, huh?
But I still wonder if any one of you do use it in a game or use a game calendar for holidays.
Use an in-game calendar.
Thank you for holidays and religious feasts and the like. Anyway, hope my little glimpse into the Swedish convention scene is entertaining. Drink.
Crazy.
Drink.
From Sweden.
I will drink.
I don't use a calendar with religious holidays and stuff. In the vampire game, I keep track of the date.
Yeah.
Because that was important for me to know when Halloween was going to be. And we know that what's his name's play was supposed to be in December, although I don't know if that's going to happen.
Right.
Star Wars Traveler, I do.
Do you?
I have an in-game calendar. I know when you guys are.
Right.
And in that latest round, right before we went on hiatus, when I was saying, like, here's the plot threads, one of those is very time calendar related.
Right.
It's the, because I don't remember, but there's the annual, like, basically New Year celebration on Coruscant, where they do the big military parades and this whole thing. And that was one of the, like, this event is coming up.
Right.
And in fact, Rob's character will be receiving an invitation as a former vice admiral.
Now, is it the year, or is it like now the Emperor's birthday? Or something?
No, it's like a year.
like a
It's
New Year
Yeah, it's like a
thing,
New
okay.
Year type thing, but it's a big, massive. It's basically like a big military force celebration, and
Okay.
they have AT-ATs walk down the center streets,
okay.
all that kind of stuff.
Awesome.
But that is very specifically timed, and there's also right in this window where the game is. There's also other big events with like Mon Mothma and like other things that all happen. And I know based on how long you guys are taking to go to places, like where the calendar's progressing.
Right.
Because you'll either be a part of it or you'll hear about it.
Right.
So.
I actually was working on, and probably still have a world that I was working on years ago when we were still playing 40. I was working on this basic game, which was like a cross between Harry Potter and X-Men. And I got crazy, like I do, and made a calendar of like holidays and stuff for wherever you were, because some of that stuff would play into the game because I started to go nuts. I even made a random menu table, because how many times do people go, hey, what's on the menu? And you're like, oh, God. And what was I reading? It might have been Martin or somebody else, but they get into these descriptions of the food. It's like fowl with a cream sauce and raw mushrooms. And I'm like,
Songs of Ice and Fire.
is it?
Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah.
God, yes.
And I kind of got inspired by that. I'm like, I can come up with it. And sure enough, there's actually random tables out there.
Yeah.
So I actually had like a couple random,
Nice.
because that way, just well, what's on the menu? Oh, GM. Oh, well, let me tell you.
Yeah.
So
Steve's going for his second ballerina. He's like, oh my God, these things are amazing.
They're good, and I'm going to have to take some insulin tonight.
yeah, if you have more than enough ballerinas,
There you go,
just stay
Andreas.
up.
Thanks.
I know
Thanks for the insulin.
for our Dungeons and Dragons game right now, Desert of Despair, we're keeping in-character diaries for the Patreon at a certain level. And a couple of the characters are keeping like the dates
Oh, that's
set
cool.
by the actual D&D calendar and stuff. I'm not one of them, but
That's- yeah.
some of them are.
But somebody is. Other people.
I tried to make mine in Elvish, like my first one, like I sat like translating it, But then I was like, okay, this is going to take so long.
Your
every
Elvish
week.
is rusty.
I was so rough.
You used to be able to speak it.
I know. Type it. I wasn't rarely able to speak it, but I could type it.
You had a typewriter with Elvish in it? Oh, right, because you've never grown up without a computer. I've forgotten. Sorry. Never mind. I'm old.
No, I played an
like-
MMO as an elf. You can't do that with a typewriter. Yeah.
Quick, fax this over. It's my move.
Yeah, you totally could. You could play. Yeah, you could play with a typewriter,
Play by mail. Play by
Right.
mail MMO. That would be fantastic.
right?
Well, awesome. Yes, you definitely gave us the Gygax meaningless
Yes.
without time meme that has lived on.
All
for the
meaningful campaigns. Yeah. I don't remember the quote now.
Is it a time?
You cannot have a meaningful campaign
Without-
unless accurate time records are kept.
Yep.
Wah, wah.
Because you always have to make sure that
It gets night when it's night, you know, and everybody has to stop and
you always want to make sure the passive voice is used. Crack open some of them fish.
No.
that's going to drive Kimmy out of here.
All right.
No, you can eat it. I'm not.
You'll have to smell it.
I will do it.
Which one are you going to get?
Which one? Okay, so there are Skarsgård sill,
Now, my question about
which is some kind of fish in a white creamy sauce with, I don't know,
now
dill
my
and
question
some
about
stuff.
these fish.
Yeah.
Okay, when I go to what's the place where they buy the
IKEA?
crappy furniture? When I go to IKEA, all this stuff is kept refrigerated.
But it's cold. It's refrigerated.
Well, it is now, but it wasn't on its way here. It was sitting on the porch.
You
now.
cannot have a meaningful campaign if strict time records are not kept.
Are not kept. Okay.
Well, yeah, we can't read the warning label that says keep it under 70 degrees.
No, it's because it's so pickled, you'll be fine. It's like as long as you don't open it. After you open it, you definitely want it refrigerated. That's why it's got the little seal on it.
Got it. Okay. All right.
So then
And there's
here's,
forks there and a
and here's
plate.
a second one, which
You're
is
all gonna
obviously
die.
in
I
some
want to
kind
try.
of
I want to
gnarly
try.
brine.
There's forks and plates. I
Oh,
wanna
this is
try a little
definitely
of
pickled
each.
herring.
Yes, and here's Ingald sill,
I want to try
or
a little of each.
Inlog sill. So
Yeah,
there's two
it is
sills.
pickled
They're all
herring.
sills. They're all herring.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's the can of fiskbular, which is fish balls. a can
Oh,
of
you
fish
know,
balls.
you can be aware of that.
I don't have. I didn't bring a.
Listen to that.
I feel like you guys
Listen to
might
that,
die.
folks. That's quality
No.
meat
No, that
right
one's
there.
fine. I
Because
don't know.
why
No.
is this one fine?
That's
Because
lieutenant.
it's in a tin.
Yeah.
But the ones that are in glass,
I don't
obviously.
No, we just don't
Okay.
know.
Death by Donut says if it smells like botulism, don't eat it.
Well,
That's good.
this one will
Well,
things up.
Look,
I mean,
I've got the Kex from Jonas's wife on the side here. So
Do you think that one might be?
This one is suspect because the little thing is up
Oh,
and
it's
the seal is
broke.
broken.
All
So
right,
I
see ya.
don't know if I would use that one. But
All right.
these guys are
Here,
still pretty
bring that
good.
one.
All right, put that one
The
aside.
seals are still fine,
Okay, those have not yet.
right?
That one, yeah.
And-
Set that
and-
one aside.
And this one, and it's not
Here,
raised
hands
up.
to a plate and a fork,
No, just scoop them out for me. Just give me one of each.
and I'll do it with you
Okay.
because
Well, I
that
like
way,
pickled
because
herring.
that way,
Well, these
if
smell
they've
great.
gone bad and we're sick, the whole band should be sick. There's many people
Yeah.
out tomorrow.
Stork too.
Yeah.
Okay.
'Cause I'm
Stork's
sure
in.
storks can eat this.
Oh my god, I definitely will go to fair just to see them pull it off without the three of you.
They'll be fine.
What's up, Kimmy?
I don't know.
You
it
can
looks
smell it.
weird. No,
I need
it's
a
fine.
fork.
Here,
Oh, sorry.
Here.
Here.
All
I'm
right.
gonna start eating
here.
chocolate again.
I'll
Actually, I
wait
want
till
to
you
try
guys
these
have it.
crackers.
Kimmy, do you want to read the next email? This is character
Sure.
development.
While we're
and-
dishing up fish from
Yes.
Sweden.
Character development in an intense/condensed session by Axel. Dear Happy Jacks crew, I don't know you long enough to greet you with something witty. Plus, I'm German, hence I don't have a sense of humor.
Come on, Hogan's Heroes is funny.
I'm sorry. He says, I do not have a sense of humor. Like, he doesn't even
Right.
condense it. All right. I have only recently discovered your podcast site and everything. So I'm trying to catch up on all the past podcast episodes while trying to stay up to date on the current season. I am almost thankful for my long commutes to and from work. Keep up the great work. Thank you for all the thought starters. Warning, this is a bit of a long one, so best have a drink now.
Okay.
Right.
Should we have our fish now?
Right,
before this?
I'm gonna need one of those because I actually don't like fish.
God, man, look at you. You're badass. You're
Irony.
in.
I'm going to eat the non-creamed one first.
All right. Wait. We got all of it over at the same time.
It's got capers and it looks like
I got a little tiny piece. I got gypped.
fish eggs or something.
No. Okay.
It's a little sweet.
It is.
I like the spices, though.
Yeah.
That's good.
I don't mind that at all.
And there'll be some juniper in there.
Oh, yeah.
That was tasty. That one-
probably this is a juniper berry, huh?
Yeah, so that's the Luxil.
It's not bad. It's sweet. It's really kind of like sweet relish, which I don't.
It's
I'm
not
a big
too
fan
bad.
It
Now-
does. It tastes a lot like sweet pickle relish.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And now the
Fish.
the
now the creamy
one.
one. Oh man, here we go.
Yeah, here we go.
Okay, that rocks. That I could eat all day long.
That's pretty good. It's a little
That
fishier.
reminds me of the
But-
mustard. It's not mustard though. It's something else,
You put that on a cracker. I mean,
right?
Yeah,
yeah.
There's crackers.
yeah. These on crackers would be good. Hey, those were both good.
I really like the.
That was the
creamed
Stars
one.
Guard. So
Yeah.
Yeah. The creamed one is the bomb.
Here, that'll
Wow.
help your. That'll help. This will help. These are chocolate.
you know, it's
Are
really
they?
weird.
Yeah.
These are not the usual Swedish fish that I like eating, but these are pretty good.
I don't remember her name, but she was.
All right. Sorry, continuing.
Okay, go. That's right.
I have this really long-standing tradition
think those are
with some of
chocolate.
my best friends where we get together once a year for an extended weekend, Thursday to Sunday, to RPG.
Nice.
We're all in our 40s with jobs and families, and we live really far apart, so this is a great get-together for us. Our RPG weekend has been taking place for the last 15 years, and usually 5 of the 6 people in the group make it. Serious illness or childbirth are about the only things preventing people from coming. So we congregate on Thursday, put the finishing touches on our characters. Initial character ideas are usually exchanged via email. Then kick off towards the afternoon. All of Friday and Saturday are spent continuing the session, with the same game being run by the same GM for the entire weekend. After an epic finish on Saturday, the barbecue to celebrate. We pick up our stuff on Sunday and leave content and happy. See you next year. Depending on how far we got in the story, the same person might GM the following year, or we might move to a different GM and game.
That's crazy.
That's amazing.
Oh, by the way, I'm sorry to anybody if there's a lot of crunching going on.
Yeah, this is the basically the rye bread.
Yeah, oh my god, the rye bread crackers, which are just fantastic by themselves. The fish on there, holy smokes, all day long.
They will suck all the moisture out of your body. It looks like though. 'Cause
That's
those
why
are
you put
really-
the white
yeah,
cream on there.
right.
Because it's just So I apologize for any consequences. I know it's terrible for sound, but and as I recall in our latest Slack conversation, I was the one saying we shouldn't be eating on the air, but fuck that because this is really good.
Yep. All right. Being a group of seasoned gamers and first-generation RPG geeks, we don't mind crunchy systems at all. He was about to say crunchy mics. I'm like, wow, we totally knew.
Or
crazy.
crunchy Swedish crackers.
Yeah. But we have just as much fun with less bulky rules. We're happy with a certain degree of railroading in these games because as a GM, you have to be prepared with a lot of content. You can't say, let's end the session here. Next week I'll have something for where you want to take this. We want to RPG as much as we can in the time we have, so we try to avoid dying often. We want to play, not build new characters all the time. We also stay away from splitting up the party. Let's have fun together. And we don't mind taking the obvious route rather than looking at all the other weird options. A big challenge has always been character development. In regular RPGs, you get to know your character and your group over numerous sessions, build relationships in the NPC group and with in the PC group and with NPCs, becoming immersed in the game world in the campaign. In a con-style one-off, you're playing for fun in a limited time frame. The game we run falls right in between that. We have lots of actual RPG time, probably around 15 to 18 hours of playtime, but in a very condensed convention-style weekend. We always feel that while we have lots of fun with the story, we don't get to develop our characters much. This tends to happen a lot better with time to talk to people about things between sessions, and with some real off-game time for things to settle, and for people to have time to think about their characters rather than being in them all the time. So, any advice? Any mechanics, systems, story types, or tricks that might help us out? Thank you, and keep rolling them dices. Axel. P.S. PSing is dumb if you write emails. You can edit them, people.
PPS.
P.S. Turning the page. A great thing we do in our multi-year sessions is that one player always writes a stream of consciousness journal of everything taking place. Old-fashioned, as things happen, with pen and paper. There are a few things funnier than reading these out loud at the start of the next session to remind everyone about all the stuff that went down last time. Highly recommended for all multi-game sessions.
That's why we have Sam. Sam does the same thing.
This is exactly her job.
Yep.
Now, I'm assuming between this Thursday and Sunday, they're playing. It's not one continuous session. They're playing like
They gotta sleep.
right.
Yeah, I mean, they're stopping, but they're playing the same game that whole time.
They're playing like 18 hours of this game. 15 to 18 hours. Yeah, it might be broken up over like 4 sessions.
My suggestion, if you want to have character development, try to break them down into one shots, and have time pass between them.
Oh.
That's what I was going to say. Is like you start here, and your character, and this thing happens, then it's almost you could almost do it like you do your weekend thing. A year passes,
Right.
or 2 years pass. Now you're all like these characters are all together again. What's happened? Like take a Powered by the Apocalypse type approach and have questions that every character answers before the next chunk starts.
Right.
Would be really cool.
And also one of the things that the players can think when they're after the session is over is what what traumatic events occurred and how did that change your character for the next time the players meet them, the next game session. Oh, you opening the chocolate?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, that's assuming you have a character concept to start with. Because I know, for example, like in Dave Kazay's game, it's taken me 3 or 4 before I
Right.
finally kind of got a grasp on what I want to do with him. And there are some tricks that, I mean, you can use, like the animal forms or whatever, if you just want to come up with some way to establish motivations for your character. But that's hard too. If you don't have your character down, it's hard to figure out what the arc is.
Yes. It is.
my
You,
God,
you almost
this is so
have
good.
The milk chocolate.
you almost can't afford to do that. You almost have to have developed the character beforehand and figured out in your own head, gotten around in your mind. Because I mean, when we're being handed characters for a one shot, you don't have any time.
No.
And I don't know if it necessarily takes playing time, but it does take time generally to be able to wrap your mind around a character and who he is.
Now,
I think it takes. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
no, I was going to say yes and no, because sometimes a quick little interesting backstory can help a lot. When I do the Freak Show games, everybody has a little paragraph about their backstory. For example, Maggie the cat grew up in a terrible lifestyle. Her mother was a drug addict, so she became a second story man to feed her mom. Now, it turns out her mom was heartbroken because her father was an elf, and she got glamorized and was completely in love with this man and completely fell apart when the man left, right? That motivated Maggie the cat all the way through. She's still got this criminal aspect, but she's a half-elf and doesn't know it. All of that stuff was just in a little paragraph in that thing, and I found that people grab onto those and are able to run with them, and they've got a motivation to start with.
Right.
So perhaps if you can't come up with a motivation, a backstory helps. Is that where you were going to go, Bill?
No,
Okay.
but I like that. No, it's great. That's great. I was going to say I do think it takes a bit of playing.
It can.
Right? Even if I'm like in our Rifts game, right? I was like, I was like, okay, I have a really good idea of who Cal is, but it took like a session, right? It took like that 3-hour block or whatever, 2-3 hour block. Whereas like by the end, it was like, oh, okay, I made some adjustments, and like even going in with a really good idea of who that guy was going to be, it changed a little bit.
Right. See,
You know.
I'm thinking of the character I'm playing in Dave Kazay's Spirit Set, not Spirit Set.
The face
Svengali.
Svengali.
Magnificent Bachelor.
He gave us the character sheet what, a month in advance or something like
Yeah.
that. I looked through the character sheet and I'm like, well, I better watch that movie.
Right.
So I went and watched Trilby or Svengali or whatever the name of the movie is, because the book is called Trilby, but I think the movie was called Svengali. So I went and I watched it and I'm like, okay, I totally get who this guy is now. He's kind of a prick,
Yeah,
and I can do that.
and a manipulator.
You can do that.
Yeah, but he's not a good manipulator. He's got magical powers.
No, but he's a really good prick, though.
He is a fantastic prick.
All con men are jerks.
Oh yeah, they have to be. But I think I walked into that game pretty much knowing who that character was.
Yeah, I agree. I've been
Right.
struggling
No,
with mine.
I'm with you too. Like I knew because I read all the source material. That's
Right.
the thing is like it was a character that had a bunch of background to the source
Yes.
point that I could go and dig into and look at, and go like, okay, I have a good sense for who this character is going to be.
Right.
One thing that might be cool too is one thing we use in our games a lot, especially like Powered by the Apocalypse stuff. They have those bonds you do at the beginning. We stole that and we did that at the beginning of our Deserts of Despair campaign, which is super cool. At the beginning, it like really solidifies cool connections and relationships. Because even if you have your party know each other already, it's sometimes hard to like have those things in place. But another thing that we've done in other campaigns is we don't fill them all out. We just do some of them. So if you had a big list, you could find a bunch of them from all the different Powered by the Apocalypse games. If in between each one of your games in your big weekend, you filled out a few more based on what happened, that could also like provide some cool like context between that,
Right.
and some development between the characters and how they progressed. And especially if you're like Stu is suggesting, saying, okay, this is this one shot, then 2 years later you are brought together again. Suddenly you fill in all these gaps. Like one of them had like an unrequited crush, so now 2 years later this person's married now. Like how does that work? So it'll just add more depth to that.
Right. And it's one of the reasons I love Traveler so much, like character gen, is as you do it as a group, when you start play, people have a connection. There's a deep reason they know each other, as opposed to you met in a tavern.
Right.
And it doesn't seem as the Traveler creation doesn't seem as forced as say some of the Apocalypse World stuff. It's like, why do you know them?
I don't think the Apocalypse World stuff seems forced.
It always seems a bit contrived to me.
Oh, does it?
Huh, okay.
To each their own. I think it depends on which one of them, and because I really like the ones from the Star Wars
Right,
Powered by
the ones
the
you guys
Apocalypse.
used for Despair.
Yeah,
Despair,
we're really good.
right.
We're cool. The ones for masks really seem to fit like that system. So that doesn't necessarily seem, because they're very teenagey. Like, oh, you've got a crush on somebody. Like,
Who is it?
Yeah. So it's totally. Oh my God, I'm dealing with so much drama with that at my real school right now. But anyway,
You have a crush on
I
somebody?
can't wait till my
no,
daughter's a
there's.
teenager.
Oh my God, all the teenagers have crushes on the same boy, and they all hate each other. So they like want to beat each other up because they all like the same boy, and the boy keeps changing his mind who he's going to date to try and like rile them up. And I'm just
wow.
like, oh, kid.
And you know what, kid? Enjoy that while it lasts.
Yeah.
Once
Right.
you get into
Yeah, because
college,
we all went through that. Yeah, we were that guy. Yeah,
It's just like,
at
oh
some
my
point
God.
that's going to stop.
I like that guy.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'd have like 3 separate sit-down conversations with girls. Like, honey, this is not worth it. You only have a few weeks left of school. We'll
Wow.
be done.
Wow.
And the-
Starting a fight and getting suspended now is a really bad idea. But
So we also we just had that's awesome. That's pretty cool.
that is really, really impressive.
But I think if you had it, I'm talking in my mouth full.
That's okay. If you had like separate sessions that were the same characters and maybe even an overarching storyline for many, many years.
Right. That could.
You're like his translator.
Right. that could be a fantastic experience for those 4 days of gaming.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It could be draining too, but it could
Sure.
be fantastic. A lot of work for the GM.
It's also a lot of work
Sure.
for the players too, because you actually have to come up with motivations and stick to them. You can't be changing
Right.
your mind and waffling. You're like, all right, I'm playing a dick and I'm going all the way through.
And you're going to have to know, okay, tomorrow it's going to be 2 years later. What has your character been doing for the last 2 years?
Right.
Right.
How's
Yeah.
your character changed?
Right.
Well, but
Yeah.
that's good because at least you've got like, okay, I'm thinking about when I go to sleep. I get up, we have breakfast.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing too is you can use some of those natural downtimes. It's not a long time, but like don't like for example, when you're all together, like spend a half an hour having breakfast together, but not playing having breakfast. Just like as mates having breakfast, and then talking
Right.
about the game. Like, oh, it was really cool yesterday. Like, yeah, I was thinking about blah blah whatever it is, and kind of do your pre-work before you dive in, right?
Right.
And like take a lunch break if you or a dinner break if it naturally fits in with where the end of that thing is, and then use that time as your between sessions thing.
You do need to take breaks. It's hard to maintain that type of energy. It really is. It's pretty much
Yeah.
like doing like a SAT or something for 18 hours. You're just drained.
Right.
It takes a lot of mind power.
Tomes is also suggesting another thing people are doing with Powered by the Apocalypse, especially Dungeon World, is flags instead of bonds. Flags are narrative triggers that you want to have people hit, e.g. gullible, tell me a lie I believe.
See, doesn't that seem contrived?
No.
I'm going to have a trigger right here. I'm going to set it here, and so go ahead and tell me a lie. Or do you tell them, or do you just that's one of my triggers?
I'm not sure. Well, no, I think you would know, and then I don't know how that works. I haven't
I
used those
think
before.
it's for you as the player.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like when that happens, this is what you do.
Yeah.
Because you're gullible or whatever.
Well, again, I guess that's a way maybe to codify or pigeonhole the motivations, but for the most part, it seems to be but that is the hardest part about coming up with your character. I know they're bagging on me, right?
No, Tomes in capitals is like, of course it's contrived.
Yeah, okay. Maybe I'm a bit more freeform because I come from an acting background, and I mean I'm using the character motivation because that's what actors do. What's my motivation? What's my motivation to my character? And sticking with your motivations is the hardest thing as a player because oftentimes it would mean stabbing other players in the back or going down the wrong path or whatever. And oftentimes you know what your character's motivations are, but you don't do them because it's not good for the game. Mm-hmm. And I think Apocalypse World says, nope, that's you have this mechanic and now you got to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But and I guess for a lot of people that don't choose motivations, that don't choose to screw up the rest of the player's gaming, that will help. Mm-hmm. And now it's like, look, the mechanic said I get to do this, so I'm going to fuck with your game.
Right. Well, but I guess it depends too. Because isn't there in some of the Apocalypse World, at least some of the hacks, where you have like this is your thing, your motivation, what you do, and you get to a point where like, oh, I should really do that, and yeah, it's going to kind of screw over Stork, but I'm not going to do it. But then there's an effect for not doing it, like a condition that gets marked, right? So you're making the choice, like I'm not going to do that, but that is against my character's nature. Uh-huh. So there's an effect that occurs because I'm going against my nature. So, that, which I think is interesting too, because it's like saying, well, I took a disad and I got points for it, but I think I'm going to screw up everybody, so I'm never going to use it.
Yeah,
right.
Well, then why the hell? Like that sucks, right?
Exactly.
Sometimes you're going to screw up.
But it's exactly what it is.
Sometimes you're going to screw
you
up.
got to
the
play
rest
your
of the thing. You
disads.
got to play it, right? You got to play your disads.
Yep. Tomes is like, well, we aren't all lucky enough to have Stork at our table.
Yeah, I know.
So the rest of us use these tools.
That's right. We have our own tool at the table, which is Stork, and the rest of you will use your own.
You have
tools.
to invent your own tools.
Listen, if you ever play with Steven, he blows me away.
Tomes has to come on a...
That guy finds a through line and holds on to it like a dog.
Tomes needs to come on a Friday night show.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, what up, Tomes?
And we gamed with Molly once too, and she was so invested. And that was just
that
was just a fiasco game, and she was so invested. I think she was crying, and we were all like, "What the fuck just hit us? What was that?"
You know what sucks is when you have a GM that makes you cry.
Yeah.
And leave the table. That's the worst.
That's bad.
That was bad.
Even if it isn't about the game at all.
I know. I didn't know. It was like one of those like trigger warning.
Yeah, I should have been like, yeah.
I forgot because I'd heard, but yeah.
Well, and I'd forgotten too until I was like, oh god.
All
the feels.
Stupid emotions.
Yes.
And now Bill's a father, and he's like, why am I running games with daydreaming children? What was wrong with me?
Now I know why. And it's like, wow, that is super powerful.
Yeah.
The other chocolate.
Okay, the gift from Jonas's wife.
Yeah.
Is Cloetta Keks, which is chocolate.
I feel like that's special.
I think it's like a Twix. It's kind of got like a chocolate coated cookie kind of.
Tom says, "I'm looking you in the eyes, you bastards. I'm down. You say the word."
Well, all I know is it's fairly destroyed. I'm going to grab some.
I'll try a little bit of that too. I always like my cookie and chocolate.
Oh, I know that.
Oh, wait.
Oh my God, Jonas's
it's a
wife.
sugar cookie wrapped in chocolate. Those are awesome.
Oh
yeah.
No, it's like the wafer cookies. Those wafer cookies.
Yeah, there's wafer sugar cookies. Yeah. What are they called? I love those.
What are those called?
There's a couple different names.
The ones that are like they look at waffle.
Yeah.
But they're stacked ones and
they
like
just have like a cream
flavors
filling inside.
Those things, but with chocolate around it.
Yeah.
All I can say is it's really good. I didn't eat dinner before I came over because I'm just like, okay.
It's funny because it's like all the same type of elements, but it tastes so different than the American ones. Mm-hmm. Like
it would have been interesting to taste that before it got ravaged by 100-degree weather.
Yeah.
Do you think it would change it that much, really?
Well, it's not intact.
Yeah, and you don't have the satisfying crunch to biting into this cookie chocolate draped in chocolate.
And they probably actually use like real sugar in this instead of like corn syrup.
Yeah, probably.
That's probably why it's good.
No, it's
the other thing we have to open is the soda.
Oh no, there's still
Don't they have laws against
so
that
probably
stuff
don't know if you want to really open this, but there is.
That was actually open.
Oh really?
Yeah, it was wrapped in something and it was open. It might be okay.
Lingonberry?
It's preserves.
Yeah, it's lingonberry preserves.
That's probably all right.
Open it and smell it.
And to be fair, the
is there anything growing on top?
No, I don't know. No, I think it's fine.
I don't think rotten fruit will kill you. It might give you diarrhea, but it won't kill you.
Put some on this.
Rotten fish will kill you.
Yeah, you're all gonna die.
All y'all.
All y'all are gonna die.
Age will kill you too.
Gotta die from something. But what is it Valeria says? Do you want to live forever?
Well,
Yeah, but I don't want to die by fish. Like,
yeah, there's different ways to die that are more heroic, right? You know.
So this is the lingonberry preserve?
Yeah.
I grew up in lingonberry. I actually know what that tastes like. It's
Yeah,
good.
I've had it too. It's really good.
Yeah.
Are we gonna try the soda?
The cock soda.
Yeah, it has a giant rooster.
2 of them.
Has anybody seen my cock?
It's rooster-flavored
got,
soda.
Eggs on it.
It's made with real rooster.
It has Easter eggs on it.
It's delicious.
It's cock pop.
Wasn't that a really
A
a failed
show.
TV
Right,
series
yeah, it was
in the
that
late
Stephen Bosco.
80s, 90s? Yeah,
Cock
yeah.
pop, and they were all like,
Yeah.
"Ba-dee-dee-dee-doo."
There was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
It was
cop rock. But
Cop
yeah.
rock,
Yeah,
that's
but
it.
cock pop was the
And it got laughed
Animal
off.
Farm version.
It got
Right.
laughed off the air, and then Glee hit it huge. So go figure.
Well, that was set in a school, though, right? Isn't
Right.
Glee
Not a
set-
police
Yes,
department.
I guess.
Right. Cops don't sing.
A GM confession from Ryan. I'll read while you distribute the cock.
Confessione.
Greetings! Kimmy's like, I'm just drinking out of a bottle.
Well, there's nothing to drink out of. Yeah.
Is it
There's
good?
the glasses.
Yeah, it's like soda.
Does it taste like cock?
No.
Stu will know.
I know. No.
Nobody forced her to say that,
No.
but I just want to go on record that she actually.
That is an unusual flavor, but it is not poultry-like at all.
No.
All right.
What is that?
It gets good, though, huh?
But what is it?
It's cock pop.
Cock pop. Hey, you guys want some cock pop?
How about a nice Hawaiian punch?
Right in the cock pop. It's Potsgmost.
Is it prune? Something in there.
Oh, it's gonna be great with the fish.
Oh, good.
Boom.
No, it's good. It's very subtle.
Oh yeah. It's got a little fruit flavor to it.
It's not like Dr. Pepper, which has definitely kind of got a prune thing going on. This is
No.
something else. Sarsaparilla, maybe?
No. No. Not sarsaparilla.
Is it licorice?
No.
Because it's kind of got that dry
No, it's
licorice.
like a berry.
Juniper?
No.
No, like strawberry or raspberry or
It's got an ingredient list. Here,
Is that
give me
'cause you tried
give me
the
that
thing
lid
first?
Before I dump this on my
what thing?
the lid.
The
Oh,
cheese?
No, didn't you try the preserves first? Maybe that's why it's bringing
No,
out the.
I didn't have any preserve.
Oh, okay.
The cheese stands alone.
No. Stu will check it out. Stork will read it.
The cheese.
All right, a GM confession from Ryan. Greetings! I have been running 5E for my in-person group for nearly a year. But starting off, we had several problems with player reliability. I decreed that if anyone was so uninvested that they would not respond to group messages for scheduling in a reasonably timely manner, or if we were short one or more players, then we would play something else, games on demand style.
It does have corn syrup.
Oh,
It says here it's
Cock syrup.
malt from corn, Korn, but it also has
From the band.
what's the name of that?
soccer.
They want me to type it in the chat room. They're gonna Google it.
Paskmust. P-A with an umlaut, S-K-M-U-S-T here.
That's the backwards one. Show it to this one.
Yeah, great. Right, but put in the chat room.
Posthumousness.
I'll
I'll drink it posthumously.
Barring extenuating circumstances, if it wasn't worth their time to communicate with the rest of the group, then it certainly wasn't worth my time to prep a session for them. Plus, this provided me with a welcome opportunity to run something other than D&D. It only took a couple of these sessions before we landed on Dungeon World. We started things off with their characters on the executioner's platform in a prison yard. We ended with them walking out of said prison with several piles of dead bodies behind them and a couple of hostages in tow. It was an enjoyable but straightforward one-off, and I figured that we would move on to something else next time. The next non-D&D session, however, they requested that we play Dungeon World again, so we had to figure out why their characters were up for execution in the first place. The characters in the D&D campaign are participating in a resistance effort against an invading dwarven army by retrieving ancient elemental artifacts before they are collected by the elite black op teams working for the dwarves.
That's kind of cool. Little black off dwarves.
Yeah.
I don't dig that.
We decided that the Dungeon World characters are one of the elite guard teams and have been caught in an infiltration attempt.
Dun dun dun.
Excellent.
I dig that.
Little
Yeah.
crossover.
Yeah. This presents two rather obvious problems. First, it would certainly be preferable for the bad guys to collect all 4 artifacts and for the good guys, in the nick of time, to stop the demon summoning ritual for which they're to be used. Therefore, I need the good D&D party to fail at keeping the artifacts away from the dwarves. Since these artifacts are mythical, like Thor's hammer or the Spear of Destiny, I handed the first artifact by having each party follow a different lead, the evil Dungeon World party's lead being the viable one. I might have the good D&D party retrieve one of the other artifacts and have it stolen from Resistance leaders once it is transferred to them, but that leaves me with 2 other artifacts to figure out how to get the party to the end of the arc in a satisfying manner without any major successes. I suppose we could just talk about it out of game and consciously suspend that gratification impulse, but that seems less appealing than addressing the problem through the story. I can look for opportunities to give them smaller victories, but I worry they will still be overly frustrated by the end of things. What thoughts do you have on keeping them just frustrated enough to make the end game all more satisfying without detracting too much from the enjoyment of getting there? We want to answer that, or
Yes.
Okay, let's go there.
You got to be careful about that because you got to give them. They need at least small successes. If you give them no success after no success after no success, Stork knows the game I'm talking about. It gets really tiring, and
Yeah.
they need to have something. So maybe maybe it started out the Black Ops team. There were 5 of them, and 4 of them got away with the artifact, but now they have a hostage, or not a hostage, but
Right.
someone they can interrogate.
Or maybe one of the artifacts, they have to make the choice: do they get the artifact, or do they save someone?
Right.
Right? And so, if they're like, we have to save this person, that gives them not only the satisfaction of having saved someone, but maybe that gives them some big boon as well. Right? It's like you can like it's the princess or something, and so then the king is going to give them this really big boon that's going to help them. Right? They have to have meaningful victories that are short of actually getting the thing.
Right.
Right?
So the bad guys need to have all 4 of these artifacts, right, in order to summon the demon. So all the PCs need to do is just keep one of them away from them, and they will come after them.
Or maybe there's more than 4, but you need 4.
Okay.
I'm
Because
just thinking,
my point being that all they have to do is just get one of them, and then the bad guys will come after them, and so now there's definitely something, rather than them just being frustrated trying to find the other 3. The bad guys may have 3. You have the last one. They have to come at you.
But he's trying to get to the point where the bad guys have all 4 of them, and then the party comes in to disrupt the
Demon summoning.
Right.
Right.
I like the idea of that they get one, they hand it off, and then that's where it gets taken, right? So you're like, oh, God! Like we actually did our part right, which shows that they're part of a bigger organization. That's smart. It seems like you could, having them make a choice, right, is really good. And in fact, if you did it where the first one the bad guys get, they get the second one, right? The third one is where they have to make some choice. And they're like, oh, well, look, we know we've got one. Let's save the princess. And yes, that one's going to go, but it's okay. Like, they can't do it because we've got one. Right?
Right.
And then that one gets stolen. Then they're like, oh, crap. Now the fourth one is super important. Right? And, you could even have that one, maybe that one, you're tying it where it's a very close time frame where it's kind of a race to the fourth one. The bad guys get it just ahead of them, but then they're chasing them. Right? So it feels like it wasn't like, oh, we lost it. Now do we do? It's like this hot pursuit right up until kind of the last moment. Right. That might be a way to approach it. So, which leads us to the second and perhaps more significant problem. The evil Dungeon World party went off in search of a second artifact, and when presented with a choice between following leads to the remaining 3, the good D&D party chose the same artifact. Even if I can manage to keep the parties from meeting during this adventure, they're going to have to face off at some point. Again, this confrontation would ideally occur at the climax of the arc. How would you suggest we approach the logistics of our group's opposing parties confronting each other, or themselves, or whatever, and in 2 different systems nonetheless?
Yeah.
Yeah. You've dug yourself a big hole here.
Yeah.
Or no, a challenge. It's a challenge.
So,
Yeah.
it seems like, and this is a lot of GM work, but I'll throw an idea out, that you translate the good guys into Dungeon World, and you translate the bad guys into D&D.
Right.
And then basically,
Whichever game they meet in,
right.
that's the stats.
That's
you use.
that, yeah. Then you like so if they're the good guys, right? You're like, oh great, and then boom, you have all the bad guys
Right.
there, right? And in fact, you could in an off session thing, right? Is maybe like the last thing you do, like in the penultimate game, they've got the artifacts, they're starting the demon summoning ritual, and you ask the bad guys, okay, what are you doing for defenses? Like have them write out and tell you this is how we're going to like keep the demon summoning ritual going. Like this is
Right.
what we're going to do to defend it. And then if the next session is the D&D guys, it's like great, I'm playing them. I know what you guys are going to do. Because they've already told you what they would do, right? So
Right.
they're kind of pre-playing by a proxy or something like that.
Right.
I mean that's an idea. But then if it goes the other way, you'd have both sides say like, well, this is what we would do to try to disrupt it.
But it sounds like he doesn't want them to meet because they're now going after the same artifact.
But he's saying like if I can get around that,
Oh, okay.
right? He goes even if I can manage to keep the parties from meeting during the adventure, they're going to have to face off at some point.
Right.
Right.
Right. So it's kind of like you just have to
Okay.
know what they would do so you can play them as NPCs.
You're going to have to,
Right.
because at some point, whatever system you're running, they're going to meet. So you're going to have a version of them in both systems. You have
Right.
to.
Yeah.
You might as well do it now.
yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, I mean, or do it when you're getting close because they might level
Right.
in D&D
Well,
or
yeah.
whatever. But yeah, and I think that's the only thing I can think to do because you don't want to try some weird cross system
It won't work.
on the fly conversion. That'd be completely strange. I mean, you'd have to sit and do it ahead of time. And the thing that's challenging is that they're the same players.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's some metagaming that you
Right.
also have to
Yeah, if it
mitigate.
was, and they know, right?
Yeah.
They know that this is a crossover.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If they didn't know this was a crossover, that would be fantastic.
right.
Right.
Yeah,
Like
I mean,
if some of them are from a different nationality and speak a different language, so all of the places have different names.
Or the artifacts
Right.
have different names.
well, see,
so they
it's
don't
kind of
understand.
weird, right? It's like so the evil party, the dungeon world party, went off in search of a second artifact, and then when presented with a choice between following the leads for the remaining three, the good party chose the same artifact.
Right.
Like, was it the same people that chose it? Like, are they trying to bring it to a head
I think we might be
now,
missing some info.
or did they
Is it the same
they
people?
have somebody else do it? Well, it
Well,
seemed,
some of them are the same because if they're missing
Yeah.
someone, they play Dungeon World.
right. If they're
Okay.
missing people, right? And so maybe there is some different people, or maybe it's like, hey, the four of us made it, and we're playing the Dungeon World game. Stu, you're not in that one, but you're in the D&D game. What do you think we should go after? Right?
Right.
Like you have to try to separate the
Right.
knowledge base in any way that you can.
You know, now
If
that
it's not something like that, they're metagaming and
Yeah.
stop it.
we did
Yeah.
something wasn't nearly as radical as this, but we had a superhero game where it all took place in sort of the same shared universe. So when somebody wasn't there somebody else would GM, and all of us would play these characters that all kind of bumped into each other. But it wasn't this radical where it was two completely different systems. That's almost unworkable, I think. Now, I mean, like we say, there are conversions out there, so you can make it work. But whew,
Yeah, it's going to be a chunk of work for you as the GM, but man, it could be an amazingly cool
Yeah.
payoff, though.
Yeah.
The other thing you could do is because you have people playing in both, right? Is you could say, okay, like this is the session where it's going to happen, and whether it's and you could even ask your players, okay, do you guys want to? Which side do you guys want to be? Right? The players are like, oh, we want to be the Dungeon World side, or we want to be the D&D side. Right?
Right.
We want to be the bad guys.
If you be the bad guys, you play Dungeon World.
Then you play Dungeon World, right? D&D if they don't.
yeah, but what if they don't agree? I want to play the good guy. I want to play the bad guy.
That's fine.
Great.
So your party gets split. It's like, all right, you play
Okay,
all the
then
good
you,
guys.
yeah,
you play all the bad guys.
yeah, it's like, okay, great. You're playing these characters, and you guys are playing these characters.
Okay.
Or you could split it that way.
Sure. And then
Right.
the GM is playing all of the odd characters.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's playing the other stuff.
Except,
Yeah.
You still have to flip a coin for the system at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's really interesting, right? There could be some crazy stuff happening like that.
Yeah.
Or you would say, yeah, you flip a coin for the system, but if you've already done the conversion, you're like, great, here's your heroes in Dungeon World,
Right.
right?
Don't argue. I
This is the
made
way
it.
it works. I made
Yeah.
it. So yeah, that's crazy. I'd love to know how that.
Yeah. Please
ends.
wait back and let us
Please tell
know
us.
how
That
that goes.
shakes out, yeah.
Finally, a GM confession.
Confessione.
During the third Dungeon World session, the wizard failed a roll whilst attempting to cast invisibility on the cleric. I decided that it would be more interesting if the spell worked too well than if it simply didn't do anything. I informed the pair that the words spoken to cast the spell, "You will not be seen," would apply literally, and the cleric would completely vanish from the party's location. This literal interpretation of the words of a failed spell would lead to an interesting result 2 sessions later when the wizard intoned "fuck all of you" to a group of enemies. But I digress.
Oh dear.
I sent the cleric to the temple of his youth, where he reconnected with his former teacher, in the hope that some combination of wizardry and divine intervention would reunite the party while imposing a reasonable complication for the failed roll. So far, so good, and I even had the teacher give the cleric a few magic items for the player's trouble. Unfortunately, that gesture was in vain, as the cleric died 2 sessions later after the Drider challenged and attacked the entire crew of a cargo ship that was providing them transport.
Oh.
Unfortunately, neither side's attempts at returning the cleric were particularly successful, and this is where I committed my unforced error. The wizard suggested that he would perform a ritual to reverse the spell, and my hope was to get him and the rest of the party quickly through their precarious situation and to a place where that could occur. 2 hours later, the cleric's player is playing games on his phone, and the rest of the party has obtained the first artifact and headed to a temple to perform the ritual.
Oh boy.
As we ended, I apologized to the player, who was understanding, and I immediately thought of about a half a dozen things I could have done that would have been better. Since then, I've certainly paid closer attention to shifting focus around when the party splits, so learning experience and all. I hope that fair went well this year, and I sincerely thank you for your consistent and high-quality infotainment. Fuck all of you, Ryan. We'll play on the forums.
Nice.
Now, this might make an interesting topic for later. It's like, what happens when somebody dies at the table and the rest of the party doesn't? What do you do?
Yeah,
What do you
what
do?
That might make a better topic.
What do you do?
What do you do?
What do you do when someone dies
Or gets killed.
gloriously saving
Or
his
even
daughter?
not. Or
Yeah.
even not.
Is there anything we didn't eat?
We had some of
Yeah.
that.
Oh, you got that one, the green can.
I don't have a can opener. We'll save
Oh,
that
that's
for
Probably for the best.
Yeah, I think so.
We didn't open these.
It's the same one. It's the ballerinas, right?
No, those are all chocolate.
These are
ones.
all chocolate.
Oh, we should open those.
I think those are like the bottoms of these, because these have like the vanilla cookie on the top.
Oh,
And then
I
the
love
chocolate
ballerina
cookie on the
bottoms.
bottom.
Ballerina bottoms.
It was going to come up. You know that.
so
They're called
firm.
ballerinas.
Yeah.
We're better than most.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
I don't know. The shop I work in, it's
Ballerina bottom?
Yes. Why, thank you.
They're like the most delicious Oreos ever.
Yep.
They're different. But I
They're
love
But
better.
it's
them.
two
Swedish
cookies
Oreos.
with the creamy thing in the middle.
But not like the sweet, pure sugar white.
I know. Yeah, they're really. It's like so good.
Mm.
Wow.
What did the chat room say is the flavor of that soda yet? Do we know?
Yeah, they looked it up. So, let's see. This is...
See, they agree with me about ballerina bottoms.
Sure.
These are really good.
It's from standing on point all the time.
Yeah, I'm
Is that
sure.
what it's from?
Yeah.
Well, and they they work hard.
Right.
They work for their...
And they're a size 2, so.
Yeah. So...
Is that really relevant to the conversation?
So Swedes drink a lot of Julmus for Christmas.
Julmus.
It's a sweet drink kind of resembling root beer, but it's I guess it comes out just during Christmas, and like Coca-Cola sales drop to like 50% during Christmas when it's out
Interesting.
because it's so popular. It was invented by Harry Roberts in 1910 as an alternative to alcoholic beverages. The ingredients are a well-guarded secret, but we know from the sticker that it does contain barley and hops. Interesting.
I did think there was
Indeed, the
something
flavor
about-
does hint of sweetened beer, but without the alcohol. As for the spices, I sense cloves, but considering it has a taste tasted the same since 1910,
Right.
I would guess most herbs and spices in the soft drink are less exotic.
Oak maltorum with malt from corn.
I don't know. That's what the article they sent said.
Now I want to see if that's clove that I was tasting.
And the picture of the other, I think it's a different brand,
Oh,
but
there's 2 seasons, I think.
I don't know.
Because Dave looked it up.
oh, okay. Maybe
Wow.
the one
So this
the
might be the
picture
Easter
in
one.
the article
Oh, this
is
is- yeah.
a rooster pulling a cart of kids like in a sled.
No, yeah, this has got to be an Easter one, right? Because it's eggs. So this is the other holiday. So this probably has rabbit in it. Then that's probably what I
Right.
taste is a little rabbit mint sauce.
Maybe it's
It's hair
Or
pop.
duckling.
Right, hair, I was
That's
gonna say.
duckling. Cock and duckling.
Right.
The Cock and Duckling. That was a
It's-
fine pub I went to in
Right.
Snobingham. Fascinating.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you for the Swedish feast.
Oh my god.
Well, this is the original recipe
I'm heady.
from 1910. It says.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
See, are we going to recipe it from
see that.
1910? Yeah. You can figure this stuff
Your
out.
Swedish is getting better.
Well, the weird thing is that
The last 10 minutes.
it's similar to English.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
Old
feeling
English.
more Swedish just eating all
Yeah.
this stuff.
Yeah.
The letters
Put a
all
little
look
of
the
this-
same.
Put a little
and
this fish
stuff
under
like
my
that.
arm. I'll be fine tomorrow.
I'm going to guess my blood sugar is going to be about 270.
Have some more salt, right? That helps, right?
No.
I kind of need one of those like rye crackers because no more
sweets.
sweets. I'm just like
Yeah.
oofda.
Oofda.
All right, I think,
Now, should I take some of these out to fair? The cookies?
yeah. Take a bunch of it.
Or should we just hoard them here?
Hoard them here.
No,
We'll
because
just hoard them here?
No,
Leave
no,
them
you
for
guys
the
will be
weekend
gone
party.
all weekend,
Leave them
and
for the
I'll sit
weekend.
here and I'll eat them all
You
tomorrow.
won't eat these. You won't eat these.
I won't- That will like so be me.
Amy's gonna
I'm gonna be
she's
sitting-
gonna have the ballerinas like on a string at the end, and she's like gonna be running. Like I'm like I gotta work out. I gotta get to them. Oh my god, so good.
They're telling us to put more ballerinas in our mouths.
Sound advice. I like our chat room. Yeah.
That's good.
All right.
It's the only boundary I can put in my
Let's
mouth
call
and
it.
not get arrested.
We do have some stuff though.
Stuff.
Saturday,
Stuff.
tomorrow, we are having a
For International Tabletop Day.
Yes, for International Tabletop Day, we are having 2 games back to back.
2 games.
games.
The appropriate amount. The dramatically appropriate amount.
Yes, both powered by the Apocalypse games. It's kind of a powered by the Apocalypse marathon, if you would. 1 p.m. tomorrow, Pacific Daylight Savings Time. We are having Masks run by Jason, who plays in our Mask
right.
actual play. So he plays Zero.
Jason,
So
not
he's-
Jib.
Yeah,
Jib
runs
is
the
running-
game.
Right.
Jib, not Jason.
Stop.
No, because there's a Jason.
Okay,
Jason
yes.
Mills.
Jib-
Mohawk.
There's a Jason. Jib is Jib.
Yes.
He has no other name.
All right.
So Jason is Jason.
All
Wait,
right.
are you saying Jib's name is Jason?
I'm just
it?
confused. Yeah.
Why don't
the
we just
Jason.
call the other one Mohawk, and then we don't have to worry about it?
Right. Hawk.
FNG.
Let's call him Hawk.
Hey, Hawk.
Because that sounds like he's a
Like
cool character
gang
from the
shit.
70s. Gang shit.
Anyway,
That's a name
Yeah,
from
oh, by the
gang
way,
shit.
having watched the Masks game and the character gen session of Desert of Despair, his favorite phrase, if I was going to start, I'm going to start working my Jason impersonation, is like, no, it's all good. No, it's fine. Yeah, everything's going to be, no, it's fine. That's how it's supposed to be. It's
probably
fine.
okay.
It's probably okay. It's probably fine. It's
that's
fine.
why his Twitter handle is probably okay.
fine.
Yeah,
Probably
right.
fine.
Like
Yeah.
and it doesn't matter. Like, oh right, so this dragon comes up and it bites up. You're like, oh, it's fine. It's probably
It's probably
it's probably okay. It's fine. It's supposed to be that way. It's fine. It's okay.
Yes, it totally is. Anyway, so he's running Masks from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. tomorrow. We have some new faces coming in for that game, so tune in and meet some new people. And we're bringing back some old Happy Jacks people as well in that tomorrow afternoon. And then we have Spirit of 77 run by Monkey Fun Studios, Dave Kazay, who invented that and made it. And so he's coming, and the guy who created it is running it for us. And again, we have some cool new faces. Ingy, if you ever remember Ingy, he's
Jingy.
coming back for that.
Don't let
and,
him break my doors.
Yeah,
No, I won't.
please, God.
And and that game will be running from about 5:30 to, knowing Dave, all night.
Right. I will be home. You guys will still be playing.
Yeah.
Play
absolutely.
Spirit of 77. It's Dave at his best, and that's
Yeah.
basically how we met him. Was
That
through
is how I met
Spirit
him.
of
I
77.
played in a Spirit of 77 game, and I came back. I was like, "Oh my god! I just played this amazing game with an incredible GM.
He's
this
so
guy
invested.
is fantastic.
Yeah.
He's so in."
So it should be an amazing day tomorrow. Gaming, Powered by the Apocalypse all afternoon. Tune in, hang out. They'll both be podcasts also, so
Yep.
eventually they'll be out too. If you're listening to this at home, you're probably listening to this after tomorrow. So, and then we have our normal schedule Sunday afternoon, starting at 5 p.m. Yes, 5 p.m. We have Desert of Despair, which is our D&D game, and then Monday is Tomorrow Legion, I
Yep.
believe.
Yes,
It is.
And are we going to try the
Tomorrow
thing? Have we talked
Legion.
about that?
Which thing?
What the?
Because I'm going to be gone, but we
Oh.
talked about maybe trying to Skype me in or something weird.
I don't know.
Or I could watch it on Twitch
Well, I
and
have
tell you
to
what
do-
I do. I
have
don't
to
know.
do some serious routing for that to happen.
Okay.
And he doesn't have a weekend
I
to
don't
do
know
it.
when I'm going to. Well, yeah, and where am
Well,
I?
we're
all
fair.
weekend?
Yeah, it ain't going to happen. So I don't
figure
know.
something out.
We'll bring something out, or I'll just be because I'm traveling. I can't.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't. I'm out of
We
town.
you could put you in like a iPad, and we could.
We
hold it
talked
in front
about that.
of
We
the camera.
I could Skype in on an iPad.
Yeah.
That's what Dave and I first thought of. Was like,
we'll
what
just
if I
put a
just Skype
camera
on
in.
an
The problem
iPad?
is the problem is
there.
sound.
We'll just
Right.
put a camera and a mic right
But
next
that's
to
what I
the
was
iPad.
saying is if you could you run the mic cable
I don't know.
from
That's
the
what I
from
have
the
to
ear
fig-
from the ear out in.
That's what I
the
have
board.
to figure out.
Because if we can do that, then Bob's your uncle.
It's more complicated than that because then I have to have
Yeah.
a bunch of mixed minuses.
Well, yeah, especially for the board. Like, we'd probably hear it fine for the stream, but then the board would be weird.
That's where the problems come.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
We'll figure it out.
I know it's doable. I don't know if I have the time to do it between now.
Or what if you just put the mic next to the speaker on the?
that might
On the iPad.
that might work. I would know if that would work right away.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
All right.
Whatever.
But
Try it out.
he told
And
me
then
that
Tune in Monday. There's going to be wackiness.
See
And
how-
Wednesday we're painting minis.
Yes, and next Wednesday we have our second try at primed time where we're painting miniatures. It's
And
really
talking
loud.
bullshit.
And talking about whatever the hell we
people
want.
seem to really like it
And
because you guys are
Pissing
bullshitting.
people off by defining art.
Yeah, Stu's prepared. He watched Suicide Squad
Yeah.
so that he and I can debate about it. He liked it.
Oh, I thought that was something going to be defining art. 'Cause It ain't.
No, it has nothing to do with art. We just argue about stuff while we paint
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh, okay, that's good.
It's super fun.
What's her name's butt was art?
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
Harley
Really?
Quinn?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? That's where you went.
Yeah.
Really?
after the ballerina comment, that's fine.
Wow, you need to get laid.
Really?
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Tune in. It should be a really great argument. It'll
Yeah,
be amazing.
it's good.
Just wait.
All right.
Just wait.
Oh, and thank you to EasyRollerDice.com
Yes.
for
Yes,
sponsoring
thank
this
you.
episode.
Always.
Don't forget you can get your metal dice at a massive 15% discount. Sale 15 is your coupon code at checkout, and I'm going to end it here.
Goodbye. It occurs to me I don't have a.
We're listeners of Happy Jacks.
Thank you for joining us for season 19, episode 6 of Happy Jacks RPG Podcast. My name is Stu.
My name is Kimmy.
I am Bija Babaran.
I'm Bira Jababo on adjacent.
Thank you very much. We'll see you next time, next Friday. HappyJacks.org/Twitch, HappyJacks.org/live, HappyJacks.org/YouTube, whatever you want. Doesn't matter. You're going to get us there anyway. Thank you very much. Leave the song.
Girls or Dungeons and Dragons, hero, pathfinder, fate or savage worlds, evil plots will be usurping, though we could do with less burping. Happy Jack's podcast will be douchebag song.
The preceding program has been a presentation of the Angry Folk Media Empire.
Bum, 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 bum.